Double cleansing has been quite the trend on the internet, and for good reason. It is a wonderful technique that you can add to your routine, but for a lot of people who struggle with blemishes and pimples, using greasy, thick, oily cleansers often makes their skin feel worse, sometimes actually worsens acne depending on the ingredients in the cleanser, and overall doesn't work well for a lot of people who have oily, acne-prone skin, especially if those cleansers don't have the right ingredients to fight acne or to support a healthy skin barrier. And boy, do I have a confession. Not only do I have products that are acne skin friendly and acne skin safe, such as this one from Zitsticka. This is a cushion cleanser. We're working with them on a portion of this video, as well as this Micellar cleanser from Dr. Sam Bunting. She's a YouTuber that I would highly recommend watching and subscribing to, as well as good old Panoxyl that you know I apply under my pits. But before we speak about why there is no oil cleanse step in this double cleanse for acne routine, I need to share a mistake that I made in hopes that someone who is struggling with acne will see this and not do what I did. I fucked up, okay, y'all? When I first went to aesthetics school, it was in 2008, 2009. But when I was in high school, I didn't have professional skin education or training, and you know, there were a lot of products on the market that were telling me that they were going to make my skin better and that things were good for acne, and I was just throwing my money at natural beauty, thinking it would cleanse my skin and be safe enough to sleep in, okay? We're talking about the Neutrogena Blemish Clearing Foundation and the Bare Minerals powder. Do you remember the infomercial? Do you f***ing remember the infomercial?
Remember that liquid and cream foundations have all those yucky ingredients that who knows what they're doing to your skin. Bare Minerals are so good that you can sleep in it.
Was it Bare Minerals or Bare Essentials? I feel like one of those brands tried to rip off the other. Either way, I bought the budget one and I f***ing slept in it. And let me tell you, I would wake up with this makeup on my face. I would then apply more because the foundation said it was acne clearing and had salicylic acid. And I would go to aesthetic school and wonder why the f*** I was breaking out.
Everybody makes mistakes.
We all make mistakes. I learned in aesthetic school that that was a very bad idea. And in 2009, little Cassandra graduated and grew the f*** up and decided, wow, maybe this isn't a good idea for her skin. And what do you know? A light bulb turned on. Yes, I have a light bulb. Don't ask questions. I learned a thing, okay? But when I started using cleansers for my acne, I did not know to double cleanse. You see, when I was in aesthetic school, we had brands like Image, we had a little bit of Murad, we had like some also random brands and some very questionable essential oil salespeople, such as Young Living, the MLM scam that told me that their oils would cure my depression and my grandfather's cancer. Yeah, spoiler alert, he died anyways. But we're gonna save that trauma for another day. If I would have known about double cleansing back then, I feel like my life would have changed so much, because what double cleansing is literally using two different cleansers back to back. The first one to actually break down dirt, makeup, oil, etc., and actually get that grime and gunk off the skin. And the second cleanse to actually impart ingredients into the skin, especially if you're acne prone, things such as acne supportive ingredients, things that are going to support your skin's barrier, acids that are going to gently and mildly exfoliate, or plant extracts that do things like provide antioxidants or natural sources of sulfur. And I did not know that at the time. Now, double cleansing has taken over the internet for good reason. And let me say, we've done some videos on my favorite double cleansing products, but I hear you, especially our acne prone sisters, when you say, listen, it's too oily for me. It feels greasy. It just feels gross on your skin. Or when you're acne prone, sometimes ingredients in oil cleansers can make acne worse, depending on the composition. There are oil cleansers that are skin supportive, but for some people, those oils can break others out. And this includes things like coconut oil. This is my second confession. Your when she was on her natural kick back in like 2014 to 2016, I literally had like a jar of coconut oil that I kept in my car. And at the end of a long day, I would literally rub my face with this coconut oil and like a reusable washcloth. And I was like, I'm cleansing my skin. And then I would go wash it with a cleanser. That's one way to double cleanse, but I don't recommend it. And the thing with coconut oil is that for some people, it can be totally fine, but it depends on your skin's genetic makeup. If your skin doesn't create the enzymes or doesn't create basically the ingredients to break down specific fatty acids that are found in coconut oil, that coconut oil can make acne worse. And for a lot of people, it does. So while you could use a cleansing oil, a lot of people with acne have said, I tried it and either I don't like the way it feels or I don't like what it does to my skin. But we also know that double cleansing is this amazing technique that helps to remove dirt, oil, sunscreen, makeup, and gunk completely. So what's a breakout prone supposed to do? That is where this double cleansing technique comes in. This technique, instead of using a greasy oil cleanser, uses a micellar water to break down the makeup, and then a cushion cleanser to actually nourish the skin. And as an option, you could do a double cleanse with this and then follow up with something medicated or even a prescription from your doctor or dermatologist. But let's start off with the most important portion, which is the actual cleanser that is helping with the acne. Remember, all acne comes from the same basic things. You have bacteria growing in the skin. It's eating the oil that your skin produces. The bacteria is farting and pooping, and it causes inflammation, and it's stuck in the skin, which causes a pimple. Or if that pimple is kind of open at the top, it's what's called an open comedone or a blackhead. So in order to get rid of the acne, we need to use ingredients that support the skin and help to mitigate that. We're talking things like exfoliants, BHAs and AHAs, which are found in here. We're talking about ingredients like benzoyl peroxide that actually introduce oxygen into the skin and kill bacteria. We're talking about things like sulfur. There's a form of sulfur in here that comes from sea moss that actually is antibacterial and antimicrobial to, again, kill the gunk that's trying to grow in our skin. And of course, the gold standard in dermatology, retinoids, although I wouldn't recommend those in a cleanser, I'd recommend those in a leave-on, such as a serum or in a moisturizer. But when it comes to double cleansing with acne, you need to have that cleanser on lockdown so that you can choose the right thing to break down whatever gunk is on top first. And that is where your routine in the evening actually starts. It starts with this first step of the cleanse. Again, there are oil cleansers like the pre-cleanse from Dermalogica that I like, but especially if you're acne prone, look for a oil-free or a non-greasy micellar water. And how is micellar water different from something like a traditional oil? Well, an oil is an oil. Again, what your skin produces and literally sometimes what you would cook with, whereas a micellar water is actually made of micelles. They are basically these little spheres that have polarity. Parts of them have negative charge and parts have positive charge, and they create these little spheres inside of a water or a liquid that actually grabs onto dirt and oil and makeup and gunk. And the great thing about micellar waters is that most of them don't leave that oily, greasy feeling on skin, and most of them have ingredients that are actually wonderful for acne. Again, this one is from Dr. Sam Bunting. I love this one. This one is fragrance free. She's a cosmetic derm from the UK. She has a YouTube channel. She has studied skin. I've been using this and I absolutely love it. This works so well for me, and it does break down makeup, sunscreen, dirt, etc. Now, what's interesting about micellar waters is that you don't use them the exact same way you would use an oil cleanser. An oil cleanser, you like rub all over your face and like wash off. There are ways to like put this on your face and rub, but especially if you're trying to get off like eye makeup or actual cosmetics, you actually want to soak this on like a reusable cotton pad and actually sit it on the eye or sit it on the skin, especially where you have a blemish. And instead of washing your face like an overly zealous raccoon, you actually want to hold that little pad there and gently kind of swipe the dirt, the makeup, the debris away. And especially for people who have acne prone skin, you don't want to be scratching, especially with like a washcloth. Instead, you want to soak, set, and then swipe. And you want to do that really gently, again, whether it's on the eyes or blemishes on the face. Whereas someone without acne can literally go in with, you know, any oil cleanser and just lather up, go away, and they don't have to worry about the inflammation that actual friction can cause. Now, in an emergency, you could just use a micellar cleanser to remove makeup, but you know that any good double cleanse that is actually done right actually removes whatever is left on the skin. Because remember, a micellar water is using these little micelles to grab onto the dirt, the oil, the bacteria, but then you gotta get it off the skin, and just using water doesn't always cut it. And that is where these come in. Again, these main components of the acne routine, because these actually have ingredients that are going to fight acne. Now, you could use one or both of these in this routine. If you wanted a 3-step cleanse, you could do this. I feel like that's a little bit overkill. And for anyone who has zits, blemishes, and wants something gentle, this is what I would recommend. Again, Zitsticka is available at Target. It's available online. It's really easy to access. Whereas if you have major acne and your doctor or dermatologist is prescribing you something, that's when you actually want to use the cleanser that they're giving you, whether it is a benzoyl peroxide that has been prescribed to you or something like the Panoxyl 10% wash, which is really, 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 really potent. Again, this is not for everyone. This is going to be drying, whereas this one is a cushion cleanser that doesn't overly strip the skin. This one, again, it's good. It's made for acne. It's very, very drying though, and that's why I would recommend this for like the body or something, whereas this is what can actually be used both morning and evening and really simply in a double cleansing routine. This is the cushion cleanser cleanse from Zitsticka, and it's specifically formulated for acne-prone skin. The great thing about this is that it has different acids in here that actually help to exfoliate the skin. They do have willow bark, they do have some enzymes, and basically these help to break down the glue that kind of holds skin cells together, and that clog that kind of gets the dirt, bacteria, and oil stuck in the skin is broken down by these ingredients so that all of that can escape and no longer bother the skin. The other thing about this formula is that it has anti-inflammatory and hydrating ingredients, so that once that gunk kind of finds its way out thanks to the exfoliants, the hydrating and soothing ingredients can actually go in and kind of calm the place down. This specifically has sea moss, which is antimicrobial. Anti meaning against or not, and microbial talking about microbes, so it actually helps to kill microbes on the skin that could be contributing to acne or inflammation. And it's a natural source of sulfur, and sulfur is one of those ingredients that is actually medically proven to fight acne. Now this is called the cushion cleanse because it actually feels very cushiony on the skin. If you have acne prone skin and you've ever used a stripping cleanser, you probably like that like foamy feel. Like it feels good, it feels like what we used back in the early 2000s, but then it strips your skin and makes you feel nasty. This is a cushion cleanse, so it actually has that foaming ability to it, but it doesn't have the stripping ingredients. And because it has glycerin in here, it actually supports and hydrates the skin without giving you that greasy, overly gooey feel that another oil cleanser or like an overly hydrating cleanser would. This is specifically formulated without SLS or SLES. A lot of people are worried about sodium lauryl sulfate, which you do not have to be. Please know you do not have to demonize that ingredient. But for a lot of people who are more sensitive, and especially people who are double cleansing, especially if you're double cleansing twice a day, it can be a lot for skin. And a lot of people think of acne as like, bam, wham, annihilate it. You don't want to annihilate your skin when you have acne. You want to support the skin's barrier, allow your skin to do what it does naturally, and then give it those actual ingredients that are acne fighting so that you're killing the bacteria, but not destroying your skin's entire microbiome. And that's the other thing is that they have a stem cell in here. It's like a willowy thistle something or other. I am actually not familiar with this ingredient, so I need to look into it more, but it's a woolly thistle stem cell. And we know that stem cells have been studied in medicine. They're being used in skincare. I can't personally speak to that, but I can speak to the formula and how it has worked for my skin and why I love it for my oily, acne-prone self and why I would recommend it to other people who are breakout prone. Especially when it comes to prebiotics versus probiotics, think of your skin's microbiome as a garden, right? And the probiotics are the things that grow there. We naturally have microbes growing on our skin. The prebiotics are the things that come before or feed the probiotics. So things such as the fertilizer. So think of prebiotics as the things that fertilize the probiotics in your skin. This has all of them. It foams, it's a cushion cleanser without being overly stripping, and it plays so well for acne blemish prone skin. Again, if you get period breakouts, if you get occasional breakouts, even if your breakouts are kind of mild to moderate, this would be a great option. But if you have more severe cystic acne especially, see a doctor, see a dermatologist, get a diagnosis, and you might want something a little bit more intense. Now, if you are going with something more intense, like something your doctor or derm prescribed for you, obviously make sure that you talk about your double cleansing routine with them. They should be able to walk you through what they're prescribing and how it works within your existing routine. A lot of doctors actually recommend benzoyl peroxide-based cleansers along with antibiotics to make sure that other stuff doesn't grow. So always talk to your doctor or derm, but if you wanted to, like again, if you get it approved by a professional and if you feel your acne is more severe, you could use this as your double cleanse. Because this does break down makeup, oil, and dirt, you could use this as a first step and then something like a benzoyl peroxide or something like a prescribed cleanser. If you really wanted to, you could use all three. Again, this is really gentle on the eyes. I have eyelash extensions and I personally use these on my lash extensions, so you could use all three. But if you just want a micellar water and a simple double cleanse, this is it for acne prone skin. And if you do have something a bit more intense, again, speak to your doctor or derm, but this is what I would recommend, or adding this if you are someone who just wears eye makeup and wants to remove that in a separate step. Double cleansing is still available for those of us who are breakout prone. We don't need to be left out of the conversation if we don't like or don't enjoy some of these traditional oily cleansers. And because our skin is resilient and beautiful and always changing, what worked for you 6 months ago when the weather was different, or maybe you lived in a different city, might not work at this time of year. Or if you are someone who is under stress and you're breaking out more because of that, you might need to switch up your ingredients to accommodate those stress breakouts more. Always remember to listen to your skin and to love the skin that you are in, and try to find brands and people that actually speak to the beauty of your skin instead of demonizing it. Again, that's why I love Dr. Sam. She actually speaks openly about her skin, about how it's prone to redness and rosacea, and she genuinely cares about people. And Zitsticka as well, they actually use real people with real acne in their marketing. They genuinely care about people who are struggling with acne, and they don't try to show us this perfect photoshopped celebrity skin. Like, they actually care about people who have have breakouts, and they make products with breakout prone skin in mind. And again, that's why I'm so grateful that they're willing to partner with us on a portion of this and other videos. It's why I've loved them for literal years. Some of their pimple patches are my absolute favorite, which if you watch this channel for any amount of time, you know, as well as their sunscreen, which does give you a dewy glow. I wish they would make like a mattifying Zitsticka sunscreen, but I feel like this cleanser is a continuation of them looking at ingredients, caring about acne prone skin and what people actually need, and doing something that's right for them. And again, if you do love a double cleanse and you want to pair any of these together, or you want to pair these together, be my guest. It's just that if you're someone who does have oily, acne prone skin and you've been burned by the double cleanse before, this is what I would recommend, my acne prone friend. Always remember to stay hydrated both orally and topically. Reapply that sunscreen if you're breakout prone and looking for an acne friendly sunscreen. We've actually done a video on that. I would recommend watching this video next to help you pick the right sunscreen for your breakout blemish prone but still beautiful skin. And overall, remember to be beautiful both inside and out. I love you from one sister to another. I've been there and you will get through it. You are strong, resilient, and beautiful, and so is your biology. And now that you understand it a little bit better, it's something that we can work on and with instead of against. I love you, love you, love you, and I can't wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.